California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu joins me now from Capitol Hill. He formerly served as the co-chair of the House Task Force on Artificial Intelligence. Ted, it's great to have you with me. Thanks for joining us. The Biden administration had a plan on artificial intelligence, and it emphasized guardrails. The Trump White House has an artificial intelligence plan with action in its name. What's the difference, and are you worried about more action than guardrails?
The AI action plan released by the administration today has 3 pillars. I support the goals of these 3 pillars. It is to increase AI innovation in the United States, to build AI infrastructure in the United States, and to lead on AI internationally. However, there are specific provisions that are deeply problematic and have massive implementation issues. For example, they want to say that states are not going to get money if they start to do regulations on AI. I think you shouldn't be able to do that, and you cannot do that. I think that's illegal. And then they want to basically say you can't have woke AI. I don't even know how you define that. I don't know if the administration has any idea how to define that. That provision really shouldn't be in there. The private sector developers know what they're doing with AI in terms of putting out these large language models.
It also talks about this action plan from the Trump White House, getting rid of bureaucratic red tape. There's going to be a lot of energy required to fuel the artificial intelligence revolution, if that's what it's going to be. What concerns, if any, do you have about eliminating bureaucratic so-called red tape or regulations?
I support permitting reform, and I think that should happen. At the same time, this administration has unfortunately made dramatic cuts to renewable energies, to clean energies, and these are vital sources of energy we're going to need as we continue to have increased demands for energy. So I urge administration to really look at not cutting the clean and renewable energies that Americans need.
Well, in that regard, Congressman, it sounds when you listen to the Trump White House that it wants to fuel artificial intelligence almost entirely through fossil fuels.
So the issue with that is it's going to increase energy prices for everyone. If you have more sources of energy, you're going to have more energy, and that reduces the cost of energy for everybody. And so the administration's actions are going to increase people's electricity prices. It's going to increase people's energy prices, and that's something that I urge administration to reverse.
You also mentioned this a moment ago. The action plan from the Trump White House says only contracts will be given to those in the AI space who are, quote, free from ideological bias. What does that mean to you? What do you think it means to the Trump White House? And what are the implications going forward?
Right. Well, first of all, it's a First Amendment issue. I think this provision will be struck down by the courts. I don't think it's enforceable. Also, it's so vague to really be essentially meaningless. So let's say a large language model says that climate change is not a hoax. Well, is that a bias towards, folks who are really conservative and think climate change is a hoax? Or is that just a fact that climate change is real? Well, look, it's a fact that climate change is real. And so I just think that the administration trying to put ideological biases into these large language models is something that the courts will strike down, and I think the administration should step away from trying to inject politics into AI.
As you know, Congressman, the House has been tied in knots procedurally this week over the Epstein matter. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, accused Democrats of playing politics with this. I want to have you listen to the Speaker and then get your response.
We're not going to allow the Democrats to use this as a political cudgel. The Biden administration held the Epstein files for 4 years. Not a single one of these Democrats or anyone in Congress made any peep about that at all. They could have brought a discharge petition at any point in the last 4 years. They chose not to. They waited until President Trump was elected. I think that's very suspect.
Very suspect, Congressman. Your response.
Speaker Johnson's not telling the truth. I talked about the Epstein files during the Biden administration as well, because at core, this is an issue about young girls being raped and sexually assaulted. Attorney General Pam Bondi should not be protecting Jeffrey Epstein's legacy or his client list. In February this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi went on national TV and said that Epstein's client list is, quote, sitting on my desk right now. Where is that client list? Why won't she release it? And we got a hint today because the Wall Street Journal confirmed that in May of this year, the Attorney General told Donald Trump that his name was in the unreleased Epstein files. So we're just asking for transparency, and this is bipartisan. There are numerous Republicans that support release of the Epstein files.
We have you evaluate some California political issues. Do you want California to redraw its district lines because Texas is threatening to do so?
I think every Democrat state should look at mid-decade redistricting. I do know there is a risk. So in 2018, Democrats got 40 seats in the election. One reason we got so many seats is because Republicans, when they gerrymandered, made a bunch of lean Republican seats that we all flipped. So if Texas does this, the only way they can squeeze out more Republican seats is to take existing Republican incumbents and make their seats less safe. If Texas does that, we're going to flip those Republican seats. And so I dare Texas to do this because we're going to have a blue wave next year, and it's going to turn into a wave that's going to have even more seats for Democrats if Texas tries to do this.
Real quickly before I let you go, should Kamala Harris run for governor?
That is completely a decision for her to make. She was an amazing vice president of the United States, an amazing attorney general in California. I was honored to have worked with her when I was in the California State Legislature as well as in Congress, and that is solely her decision to make.
Congressman Ted Lieu, California, Democrat. I appreciate it very much, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.